Welcome to the Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Josh Kimmel, Dave Campbell, and Justin Bowerly.
Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. With me, of course, Justin Bowerly, but we'll get to him soon because, I'm the man of the show. I'm the face of this show. And I'm the 0-3 Josh Kimmel. That's right. I suck at fantasy football this year. So hopefully Justin and myself can improve my season by giving you the top priority waivers for the show for the week four. We have a ton of injuries, a ton of waivers. So let's not waste any time. Let's bring Justin in here. What's going on, Justin?
What's up? You like my new home office?
You went to
I did some remodeling this weekend.
IKEA, right? I'm assuming you went to IKEA.
No, these are custom. This is custom.
Custom. You went to Home Depot.
The plants are IKEA. I went to Lowe's, but yeah.
You're a Lowe's guy. You're one of those.
Lowe's guy.
Okay,
Yeah.
Lowe's is a little bit more expensive, but it's fine. It is what it is. I'm more of a man of the people. I go to Home Depot still. I do go to Home Depot once in a while. If I need a bit or like a screw, but you come to us if you need priority waivers, because you come to us for priority waivers because we are geniuses. Actually, I'm not going to self-promote and say I'm awesome anymore because that promotes hate comments in the chat. So please keep it positive, people. It hurts my feelings, right? Even though we did tell you Evan Ingram was out, it is what it is. We'll move on from there. But we do have a ton of injuries, a ton of priority waivers, a ton of new faces in this whole landscape of the fantasy world, which we're going to get into. But first, make sure you're following us everywhere, every platform, OUSFFpod.com. Of course, our YouTube page, just search OUSFFpod. We are growing weekly and daily. We're up to 235 subs, which is incredible. I believe last week we were at 220, so we gained 15 last week. Let's keep it going. Tell your friends if you're here again. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your league mates if they want to get better at fantasy football or at least improve just a slight little bit. Come over here and join the conversation. And if you have questions, because I know you have a ton of them, please be patient. We will get to those when we have a chance. We will answer every single question you have in the comment section. So, without further ado, let's get over to the injury news.
So we have quite a bit, like you mentioned. I'm not going to cover everything that happened on Sunday, but I will cover a lot of good ones. Tucker Kraft has a shoulder injury. He left the game on Sunday, so we'll have to check back up on that. But Tucker Kraft probably is not in your starting lineup. So let's talk about people that are in your starting lineups. Possibly Skylar Thompson, the Dolphins QB1, out for the game. Josh, how's that going?
Yeah, not great. Not great, Justin. Avoid
at all costs. Devonta Smith suffers a concussion on Sunday. That was a brutal hit. Took off his helmet, knocked him out. It looked like it knocked him out. Looking at the replays. That's going to be something you're going to want to monitor for the rest of this week. He very well might not play next week, but concussions are weird. Everybody has a different concussion symptom. Everybody comes back from them differently, but I would be monitoring that for the rest of the week because A.J. Brown is also still out. We're not expecting to see him again in week 4 as well. So that could mean the top 2 Eagles wide receivers are out, leaving you with Goddard and Jahan Dotson.
Woohoo! He's on the list, right? Talking about Jahan Dotson today? Are we talking Jahan Dotson?
We didn't put him on the list, but we can. Justin Herbert aggravates his high ankle sprain against the Steelers. He came out during the game. That's something, again, we'll want to monitor. Herbert has been dealing with injuries for the last several seasons, so that'll be interesting to see. Sam Laporta was carted off with a low ankle sprain. That's something to monitor this week, so just keep an eye on that one. Britton Covey, everybody would say, hey, this is the new Eagles wide receiver with the 2 top guys out. If you went out and got him on waivers last week, sorry, but he's expected to miss 6 weeks with a broken shoulder. That sucks. Next page. There's so many. There's a next page.
Yes.
So, okay. Sam Darnold suffered a knee bruise. There's no structural damage. He should be good to play on Sunday, so that's good. Jordan Addison is still considered day-to-day. He's missed the last 2 weeks with his ankle injury. Tank Dell's dealing with injuries to his wrist, hands, and ribs. So if you were waiting for the breakout Tank Dell game, keep waiting. Jalen Warren to be elevated for a potential injury.
Oh, Jalen Warren in the news. We haven't heard that name in a long time.
And no,
Trey
McBride, one of the star tight ends on the season, concussion protocol. Evan Ingram officially missed last night's game. He's missed 2 straight with that hamstring injury, so we'll have to keep monitoring that one this week. So keep checking back on Wednesday night and Friday afternoon. We'll hopefully have more information. Adam Thielen finally gets a quarterback. He's expected to miss time with a hamstring injury. So
that was an awesome catch. That was an awesome catch, by the way.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Christian McCaffrey still dealing with that Achilles. He's on IR. We know this. He'll be out at least through week 5. But the big news is he's visiting Germany to see a specialist. That's never good.
I don't know what to think about this. Can we stop?
Uh-huh.
I don't know what to think about this. I'm hearing good things. I'm hearing bad things. I'm hearing, he can only get this treatment, and that's, in Germany. I'm hearing, oh my goodness, this is the end of his career. I'm just hearing everything. And right now, we're still unknown. It could be he won't return for the rest of the season. It could be he returns after his trip in Germany. Maybe he drinks a couple pints. Maybe he gets better. Maybe they heal him over there, because let's be honest, their health care system is probably way better over there than here in the States. Just the truth. Maybe they can fix him. I'm hoping they can fix him. I know everyone drafted him at 101. We didn't know the severity of this injury before the season, and a lot of people are upset by that. I'm not one of those. It's not they're people. What gives us the right to get their medical information? But that's besides the point. The fact is that he is injured at this point. He is going to Germany seeking treatment over there, and it's just not looking good. And I'm concerned. And now we have Jordan Mason for the foreseeable future. And we have a question in the chat. How do we value Jordan Mason in a 1-quarterback dynasty? And I'm going to give you a straight up answer, Justin Tech. I don't know, because it all depends on when CMC comes back. Now, if CMC doesn't return the rest of the season, Jordan Mason's a top 12 guy going forward for the rest of the season. But does that mean CMC's never going to play again? That's my concern. We've seen backups in the past, like Zach Charbonnet right now. He's doing great. He's doing phenomenal. But what's going to happen when Kenneth Walker comes back? He's not going to Wally Pip him. Jordan Mason's not going to Wally Pip my boy CMC. CMC is one of the best running backs of all time. So it's hard for me to gauge his value. I wouldn't give up a first-round pick for him if I needed running back. I would give up a second-round pick. I've done that. I've given up a second-round pick for Jordan Mason because I roster CMC. Right now, I still value him as a backup running back, because we just don't know, and you cannot predict when CMC is going to come back. I wouldn't give up the house for Jordan Mason, but I'd be okay giving up small pieces for Jordan Mason going forward. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, Jordan Mason is pretty solid. Again, you don't know when CMC is going to come back, if he comes back this season. And if he does, at this point, I'm not expecting to see CMC back until week 9 or 10.
We didn't address the fact that he is a free agent next year. We didn't address that, which, again, the unknown. What if he goes somewhere where we don't like? What if he re-signs with the 49ers because he's comfortable there? What if he's only succeeding because he's with the 49ers, Justin? Like, these are the questions I have.
And that's the next thing, is this 49ers offense is completely different. This is a team that generally is in the top tier for what EPA, I think is what Sean said, and they rank like 31st right now in offensive EPA. So it's not looking good. So they're not, or no, I'm sorry, it's not EPA. I'm thinking of the Bengals here. So all you people in the comments now,
wow, Justin, you don't know.
Yards after the catch, they're usually top 2 yards after catch. Now they are bottom 2 in yards after the catch, and that's strictly because of Christian McCaffrey. Jordan Mason doesn't give you that same kind of leverage within the passing game. He's a pure running back. And this offense has looked completely different without Debo, with Brandon Ayuk not really showing up. All they have is Jaan Jennings. So I value Jordan Mason, but I value him just as much as I value Zach Charbonnet or Jalen, way more than Jalen Warren, though. So it's interesting. This is not a fun thing for 49ers right now.
It's not. And for more information on that, Justin, we do have a fantasy show dedicated to Dynasty.
Yeah.
Without us, we're not the host, by the way. It's our video editor, Derek. He's in too many leagues. Hence, the name of the podcast, the name of the stream is going to be called Too Many Leagues. They'll be debuting pretty soon, where you're going to get all of your information for the Dynasty content. I do play in a lot of Dynasty leagues, but I'm delegating that, or we are delegating that, so we can refocus on just redraft.
Yes.
But for the Dynasty terms, man, it's hard to tell in September of 2024 where he's going to be in 2025. He's a great running back. He obviously has vision. He obviously has power, strength, can run the ball very, very well. But let's see him do that without Trent Williams, because he was also injured.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a big deal. And let's see him do it.
Is.
Well, of course. And let's see him do it. What if he lands in a bad situation? What if he chases the money and he just wants to get paid, which go get your money, dude. Well, what if he lands in a bad situation? That's something we're going to have to monitor, and it's too early right now to tell. If you want to buy or sell or buy low on him, go for it. Because the risk right now, because at least you're going to get him for the rest of the season. But what's going to happen next? That's something we'll talk about in December, November, going into January. 2
more injuries. Brock Purdy's dealing with the back injury. He's considered day-to-day. So, again, that 49ers offense is not looking great. And Austin Eckler exited last night's game with a concussion.
That's your fault. That's your fault.
Yeah,
that is your fault. You were like, because we were like, no one's starting Eckler in 2024, bro. And you're like, oh, who would start? Because right after Eckler had that huge return, oh, who's not starting Eckler? I didn't say nothing. And then like 3 plays later, dude's hurt. That's your fault. You shouldn't brag about that in the middle of the game. Can you brag about someone else like doing well that's not on my team, or I'm not? Gosh, darn it, Justin. Well, that being said, let's get into our priority waivers. We have a ton to get through, like literally a ton. So let's get to it, Justin. Oh man. So these are the must adds of the week. We're going to start Andy Dalton. He's rostered in 3%. I'm kind of up in the air because last week I told you guys, remember, it's Andy Dalton. Like at the end of the day, it's Andy Dalton. So let's not get too excited. I didn't know he had access to the Sam Darnold and Gino Smith Harry Potter cabinet with the lucky juice. I had no idea. Apparently that's a thing going on with these retread quarterbacks. They're just pumping this lucky juice into their veins and they're just being awesome. So I guess full send. Buy Andy Dalton, $100 fab, go pick him up because he's the GOAT, just like Darnold and Gino Smith. Apparently.
He was QB1 last week. Over his last 3 weeks, he was QB 29 in points per game. And I'm going to put 29 in quotes because he threw 1 pass in week 1, which made him play 2 games. So if we take that out, he's been QB1 over the last 3 weeks in points per game. The Panthers are a completely different team. Was Bryce Young the actual issue? It kind of seems that way. I don't know. But Dave Canales is really good at making these retread quarterbacks into something. See Baker Mayfield, see Andy Dalton. Like, it's just a trend. So I wouldn't be picking up Andy Dalton to be starting him this week, but I would be picking him up to put him on my bench so nobody else has him. And that way you have him just in case you need to flip him out for Brock Purdy or Justin Fields or Anthony Richardson. So, yeah.
No, I get it. So here's my concern with Andy Dalton. It's 1 week, right? The whole team is motivated. Let's see what happens next, right? We've seen these quarterbacks like a Josh Dobbs or somebody come in and light it up, and you're like, holy crap, this guy's the future. And then things fall back into place, and then he remembers he's Andy Dalton, or Josh Dobbs remembers he's Josh Dobbs. The list can go on and on and on of these quarterbacks who come in and have great games. But you're right. In a super flex league, instant pickup. There's no reason why he shouldn't be picked up in every super flex league just because every starting quarterback should be picked up. Even Skylar Thompson last week when he was playing. Every quarterback is valuable in a super flex. 1 quarterback league, 12 team. I'm still not bothering Andy Dalton. You know, Derek Carr realized he's Derek Carr pretty quick, didn't he? When are we going to I don't know. Everyone's bugging out about Derek Carr, right? All I'm saying is the NFL is a week-to-week game, and when everything's going right, everything is going right. I'm not going to tell you to sit here and pick him up, but he's worth a look, in my opinion, if you do need a quarterback. If you rostered Tua and he went down, or if you're rostering Purdy and you're afraid he's not going to play, I get that. So if you have a quarterback concern, Justin Herbert is another one. If you roster Justin Herbert and he was your starting quarterback, you're concerned he re-aggravated that ankle. Andy Dalton, the great Gardner Minshew. If you picked him up to stream him last week and he S the bet on you, go ahead and get Dalton. He can S the bet on you again. So that's where I stand on Andy Dalton. Let's go to Braylon Allen, a guy I've been banging this table for since forever, and he's only 32% rostered still. He had 11 carries last week. I think he led the Jets in rushing. Braylon Allen is not only a starter for you if Brees goes down, but I think he's a strong flex. Yes, he's only getting about 32% of the snaps right now. I understand that's not great, but what he's doing with the ball when he has it in his hands is great. He scores touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers trusts him. Again, 11 carries last week. I know a running back that had that many carries, DeAndre Swift, who did jack shit. Sorry, Bobby. But it happens. So Braylon Allen, if you roster Brees Hall, must be rostered on your team moving forward.
I agree. 100% agree. Braylon Allen, when he's effective when he's running the ball. So he is finding the end zone. He is getting goal line carries too. So that's also really helpful for a backup running back. So 100% agree. Braylon Allen should be rostered in more leagues.
Yep. Another guy on this list, Bucky Irvin, another running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was like the only player that balled out against the Denver Broncos this weekend. I think he had 7.8 yards per carry. It was ridiculous. He was the only standout in that entire game. We told you to sit Mike Evans. But Bucky Irvin, he is looking to take over this role, and I think he will take over this role. Rachaad White's not getting it done. Rachaad White is not a great runner. He's a good pass catcher. He's a great pass catcher, actually. Bucky Irvin is the opposite. He can pass catch, though. But he can find those open lanes, and he's a great runner. I think Bucky's one of these running backs who are going to win people leagues. He's only rostered in 34% of the leagues right now. Go get him while he's cheap before everyone finds out that he's a thing. Because Bucky Irvin is going to win you some leagues.
Yeah, this is not a if. This is a win. He takes over that backfield. The coaching staff after week 3 has already said that Bucky Irvin has earned himself more volume in that offense. So I would expect to see his snap share going up to 40, 50% very, very soon. And you're seeing what he's doing off of 9 attempts and no touchdowns. That's the thing that a lot of people are missing is he's got no touchdowns yet this season, and he still scored 11.5 points in week 3.
Yep, I agree.
Every ball that he's being thrown, he's 3 for 3. So last week, he's incredible. He should be rostered. Again, this is not an if. This is a when he takes over the starting role in Tampa.
And you want to get ahead of that because you don't want to be fighting waiver wire people whenever Rachaad White is officially benched or takes a lesser role. Next on our list, Cole Kmet. I'm tired of talking about Cole Kmet. Rostered in 33% of leagues, but I guess he's something. He had 10 passes. He had a touchdown last week, right, Justin? I mean, you're the Kmet guy. I'm not. I don't think he's good.
10 receptions on 11 targets and a touchdown that nearly doubled his reception. It did double his reception total for the year. It did nearly double his targets for the year. We see this with all the time with rookie quarterbacks. They find their tight end, and that's their safety net. Cole Kmet is becoming the safety net. Odunze is becoming a safety net. We're not seeing a lot of DJ Moore. We haven't seen Keenan Allen at all this season, really, other than week 1. So Kmet seems to be that guy that is actually helping out in that offense, and he surely did in week 3.
My thing on Cole Kmet is when Keenan Allen comes back, because I do think he is coming back, he will be the safety net. And that's why, yes, pick up Cole Kmet now if you're struggling at tight end. If you roster Travis Kelce and you're just tired of him, or if you roster one of these tight ends who aren't producing or maybe injured right now, or Mark Andrews, Cole Kmet's a good, I guess, spot start for you. Another guy on this list is Mike Gesicki. He played last night. I will say this, since we are on the Finstock Sports Network and I am in that league, our company league, our network league, I dropped Travis Kelce for Gesicki. Kelce was added for $98 in Fab. Gesicki outscored Kelce. That's all I'm going to say. Gesicki is going to get more opportunities in this offense. Travis Kelce is a shell of himself. I've been saying it since day one, or not day one, since week 1, since we've realized who he is. He's just a break in case needed kind of player. They're not going to utilize him as much as they thought they were going to, or you thought they were going to. Mike Gesicki is going to get opportunities because Joe Burrow, they're missing a Tyler Boyd, and they're missing that third receiver on that team. For so long, it was Chase, Higgins, Boyd. They're trying to find that guy. And they might have found it with that guy. I can't pronounce his name, but I think Gesicki is going to be the one that's going to take over the role. Gesicki was awesome last night. Did you see Gesicki? Gesicki was a beast, bro.
I did. Are you talking about Yoshivas?
Gesicki, best security in the league, baby.
Gesicki and Kmet are both perfect examples of these are streaming tight ends. So if you did draft a Kelce, Laporta, Kincaid, the guys that Mark Andrews, the guys that are supposed to be top 5 in the league in points, and they're not. These are guys that you can pick up right now and play instead. Streaming tight ends is what this season's going to be about. We're probably going to have a streaming tight end on every single waiver show this season because tight ends suck, and we're all streaming tight ends at this point. Nobody has a safe tight end unless you have Trey McBride, who's now injured. So is there a safe tight end in the league?
I think Brock Bowers is still safe.
Brock Bowers is a safe tight end, and he's a rookie. And we've seen Kincaid, we've seen Laporta. This is redraft. We're not talking about next year. So
Jaan Jennings of the San Francisco 49ers. If you started them this week, you most likely won your matchup. That's because he scored 3 touchdowns, caught 11 balls, 175 yards, and was the main target for this team, which I guess I saw coming, but I didn't have him or roster him. He's rostered in 34% of leagues right now, same as Bucky Irvin, surprisingly, which is kind of odd. But I guess a lot of people picked up Jaan Jennings and they played him. So, Justin, are you feeling confident adding Jaan Jennings to your roster?
I have him on a lot of rosters already. So, yeah, I do feel confident. Did I start him in all my leagues? No. I started him in one, but that was about it. Jaan Jennings did win people games. If you had him in your roster, you most likely won, just like Kamara in week 1 or week 2. Brock Purdy had 22 completions last week. 11 of those was to Jaan Jennings. That was the offense last week. They scored 21 points. That was Jaan Jennings. Again, we've said this week in and week out. Brandon Ayuk has not played football yet this season, really. What is he doing? He had 10 targets. So the other half of Brock Purdy's targets went all to Brandon Ayuk. He caught 5 of them. He's not catching nearly as much. I think I saw something today that of his 20 targets, 12 of them were deemed uncatchable. So I don't know if it's just a Brock Purdy issue or it's a Brandon Ayuk issue. But without Deebo Samuel, without Christian McCaffrey,
Kittle,
and Kittle, who's also injured, you have Jaan Jennings on that offense. This is a must start. You have to pick him up if he's in your league. This is not, let me go see. Let me put some fab down. You need to pick up Jaan Jennings at this point because there is no other offensive player that is doing anything other than Jordan Mason. So if we're talking about receiving game, it's Jaan Jennings. No other questions.
All right. Do you want to answer this question in the chat before we move on to the?
Yeah, let's answer some questions here. So we're going start Mooney or Higgins? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, we're looking at start T-Bomb Higgins or Darnell to the moon Mooney. Man, this is tough, man. Like this one's tough because at one situation you didn't draft Mooney, you picked him up on waivers, which we're going to talk about Mooney in a second. That's why I wanted to transition to this. And T. Higgins just came back last night off of injury, and he wasn't really impressive against the Washington Commanders. Washington gave up the booty to everybody, literally, this whole season. Their secondary is trash, and T. Higgins still failed to give you a double-digit fantasy points. Whereas Darnell Mooney, on the other hand, has demanded 8 or more targets in 2 of the last 3 games. I'm not even looking at stats. I just know this because I love Darnell
7.
Mooney. Huh?
7.
Oh, it was only 7? It was only 7?
I don't want somebody coming back in the comments saying
okay, it was only 7. I'm sorry.
7.
I memorized my stats wrong.
He had 7 and 8 for what it's worth.
Okay, 7 and 8. So, okay, cool. So Darnell Mooney, on my end of it, I'm starting Darnell Mooney no matter the matchup because I feel more comfortable in Kirk Cousins. I feel more comfortable of him getting the ball to Darnell Mooney because we've seen it. Whereas T. Higgins, I don't know what's going on. Does this guy even want to play football anymore? Does this guy even care? Is this guy still injured? There's too many question marks for T. Higgins. I am 100% out on T. Higgins, even though it is a juicy matchup against Carolina. But guess what we just had last night on Monday Night Football? A juicy matchup against Washington. And Joe Burrow only did it in garbage time when I went to sleep, by the way, and lost by 4 points because Joe Burrow. F you, Slim Shady. But he couldn't.
I don't believe that to be true, but I'll let you finish.
Okay, you're right. But the first half, he was struggling. Is that correct? Am I right or wrong on that situation?
I mean, 0 punts, 0 turnovers in a game. Does
okay,
not
0 points,
say
0,
that you're
but I'm talking about T. Higgins, right? T. Higgins
also had two red zone targets that were both.
Did he come down
bad balls from Joe Burrow?
Oh, okay, from Joe Burrow, who I just criticized, but couldn't. Okay, I'm getting your points all twisted up here, Justin. What I'm trying to say is this: trust in Darnell Mooney. I think he's the better option this week. I mean, against the Saints, it's gonna be a high-scoring game, I think. Whereas I don't trust Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. Sorry.
I wouldn't trust T. Higgins until you actually see it happen. We've seen it happen with Darnell Mooney twice. It could be a trap game. We don't know, but I would trust Darnell Mooney. The interesting thing here is New Orleans did hold the Eagles offense also. That game was not good, period. So
but
we'll see.
You said New Orleans held the Eagles offense without Devontae Smith half the game, without A.J. Brown, but Saquon Barkley went totally bananas.
It was like the third quarter before a touchdown was scored. So
Dallas Goedert's Dallas Goedert's the best tight end of all time, by the way. Single-handedly beat me in 2 matchups. Single-handedly. Jesus Christ.
Mateo, for your second question here, keep listening. We're going to talk about Mark Andrews in a minute. Dustin, friend of the show, I think Jennings is a trap this week. Pats have a great secondary, and Ayuk is getting back into football shape. That is true. Ayuk is getting back into shape. He is getting more targets, but again, he hasn't shown it. Jaan Jennings has showed it, twice in 3 weeks. I would still trust him to do pretty well.
I went to bed last night with a 70% chance to win. Kincaid scored a touchdown. Brian Robinson Jr. scored a touchdown. And T. Higgins did absolutely nothing. Thank you, T. Higgins. And I'm into bed. Joe Burrow had 10 points at half. I'm like, let's go, baby. I won. I woke up at 5 a.m. to check my sleeper. And I lost by 4 points because all of a sudden Joe Burrow decided to be really good in the second half. Cool. Can I get that off my chest? I'm 0-3 in my main league now. 0-3 because of T. Higgins.
Last question before moving on. Carson Steele or Josh Jacobs? I'm going Josh Jacobs. I don't even know the matchups, but I'm going Josh Jacobs this week. Carson Steele had a decent week, 74 yards on the ground this week. However, Kareem Hunt is getting into shape. Their entire coaching staff says that Kareem Hunt looks even better than when he was on the Chiefs from before. I expect Kareem Hunt to be RB1 for the Chiefs this week over Carson Steele. Josh Jacobs against the Minnesota Vikings. I love it. Oh, that's right, because it's Aaron Jones come back into Lambeau. All right, should we move on to the next segment? Why not? Worth a look, players. Gino Smith, if you're needing a quarterback and you miss out on the Andy Dalton sweepstakes, to be completely honest with you, I'd feel more safe with Gino Smith as my quarterback, one of my team, but that's okay. It's all about preference. Gino Smith has the monsters of JSN, DK Metcalf to throw to, and of course, Tyler Lockett's still out there playing games. Gino Smith is interesting. He's just a safe quarterback to me. He's not going to crush you. He's not going to amaze you. He's just going to whereas I believe other quarterbacks on this list are going to struggle time to time, but they are going to Detroit in a hostile environment this week. If you're streaming quarterbacks, you might want to lean towards someone else, maybe a Justin Fields. That's a question for you to put the graphic of Justin Fields. We could talk about Justin Fields. I'm going to ask you, are you feel comfortable with Justin Fields or Geno Smith leading your team this week? You're doing this whole thing where we're talking about two different guys, which makes this clip harder to put on social media later. So I'm going to go back and talk about Geno Smith in a whole first. Geno Smith has been QB 13. He's consistent. You're going to get exactly what you think you're going to get out of him. 13 points. He's fine in super flex leagues. He doesn't add a lot on the rushing game. He's consistent in the passing game. He's a game manager, if you want to put it that way. He does have a high value. Scored 19.4 fantasy points last week,
Bustin is going to run all over this Colts defense. You can't tell me and sit here and go, the Colts give up all these rushing yards, yada, 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 and you're not excited for Justin Fields this week. So I'm super excited. I can't wait to see the stat line between Anthony Richardson and Justin Fields. It's going to be how many more incompletions to completions are we going to see this week? I cannot wait. It's going to be great. I know Justin Fields, I think, had a good week of throwing the ball.
Whoa. Hold on. Time out. Justin Fields has actually been pretty good at throwing the ball. He's got what? Hold on. 6, doing math quickly, 13.
No, he's been
7. He's got 20 total incompletions this year and is throwing the ball 47.
Hey, he's doing pretty good times. He's throwing the ball great. They're scheming him. They're scheming him to be great. I love it. I love to see this from Boston. He only had 6 rushing yards last week, which is weird. He had 57 week 1, 27 week 2, 6 week 3. Like, what is happening with Boston over here?
It's like they're turning him into a passing quarterback. It's so weird.
No, I'd feel more comfortable with Justin Fields as my quarterback this week over Gino Smith. And the reason why is for the rushing upside, playing the Indianapolis Colts, the definition of mid over there. And I am curious to see, seriously, the stat line between the two quarterbacks who can't hit a broadside of the barn. But I'm excited. Justin Fields, though, 518 passing yards, 27th in the league, not really doing much over there. But if he can get the ball running, if he can get the running game going, get George Pickens involved, I think Justin Fields is poised to be a top 12 quarterback this week against the Indianapolis Colts. Am I wrong, Justin? I'm not just attacking you. Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
He might be my start of the week. He might. The Steelers winning. I didn't see the spread yet. This might, by the way, I'm 2-0. This might be my pick of the week, my gambling pick of the week. Steelers plus whatever or minus whatever they are. I'm just going to call it right now. That's what it is.
Steelers money line. Just say it.
Steelers money line wins easy.
Or no, Justin Fields is very solid. I mean, he's been on our list for several weeks now, I think. Oh no, just kidding. He wasn't on the list last week, but he was on our list week 2. So only rostered in 20%. Yeah, he's been QB 20. I get it. That's not great. But look at his last week. He's 19.4 points. That's what you want to see in a starting quarterback against the Chargers, who has a tough defense. He's got Indy. He's got Dallas, who's been letting a lot of people score. Las Vegas, who's been letting a lot of people score. That's 3 very, very good matchups in the next 3 weeks. This is a guy that I would feel very comfortable starting. You don't even have to worry about Russell Wilson. In fact, all the leagues I have Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, I'm starting to just pitch Russell Wilson to the side because I don't think he sees the field ever as a Steeler. So pick up Justin Fields this week, potentially even start him with confidence.
There we go. How are we feeling about Cam Akers this week? Rostered in 41% of the leagues. Cam Akers is one of these guys who has talent, all the talent in the world, just needs the opportunity, just needs to be believed in. But is Joe Mixon any way form coming back this week?
No news as of 3 days ago on Joe Mixon.
Nixon?
Mixon.
Does he do this?
Damian Pierce is also out. So, I mean, this puts Cam Akers as RB1 right now. So I would pick him up just in case, especially if you have Joe Mixon already, and then swap out whoever is actually going to start.
Yep. So here's the strategy. Put Joe Mixon in your lineup, hit that little button on your sleeper app, whatever that is, that little thing, and you hit swap just in case. I did it for the first time last week. It was awesome. No stress. Thanks, sleeper. That was actually a great update. But Cam Akers for me is a must add if you roster Joe Mixon. Again, he might be rostered in your leagues because 41% is a lot for active leagues. You know, these numbers only count for dead leagues as well. But Cam Akers is someone out there that you should go at least check to see if he's there. Worth an ad. Don't blow your fab though, but worth an ad. Quinton Johnson. I wrote in my notes one thing. He is the new Gabe Davis. As in, when there's a broken play, he's going to take advantage of it. He had 2 catches on 2 targets. 1 went for a touchdown where literally nobody covered him. I can't advise you to go pick this guy up because of 2 targets and 2 catches for 1 touchdown. I can't, off of a busted play. But I can say at least he's getting opportunities, and at least he's on the field running routes, and at least he's a body for the Chargers who don't really throw the ball much. he's someone, if you're in need, if you have AJ Brown, if you have Tyreek Hill, if you have these guys that you just don't feel confident starting or they're not starting because they're injured, you can throw him in there and hopefully someone forgets to cover him. Because that's about all the analysis I have for Quinton Johnson right now. Nothing special, but at least he's getting targets in the red zone, in scoring opportunities. Nothing to add?
I agree with you. He is like a Gabe Davis where he's getting lucky with touchdowns right now. He's still a very touchdown dependent wide receiver in the league. Without his touchdown, he's looking at 6.4 points, not 12.4. We don't take touchdowns away, like you said last week, but just putting context in there, he's not looking at the same amount of points. We talk about Gus Edwards being touchdown dependent. Why can't Quinton Johnson be touchdown dependent also? So somebody to look out for, see if he's there. I wouldn't be blowing my fab on him, but I would definitely consider picking him up.
Yep. The next guy I do consider putting fab on. I think I'm going to put more fab on this player in particular than I'm in any other player on this list. Darnell Mooney to the moon. He's finally back. He's like the opposite of burying. Like he is the Undertaker. He's risen. There was a time where Darnell Mooney was good at football. Do you remember those days? Like there was a time where he was a good dynasty asset, and it was 2021. He had 1,000 yards, 81 catches, 4 touchdowns. We're like, okay, Mooney's a thing. Mooney's a real thing. And then all of a sudden, busting happened, which happens, right? Did he play for the Bears that time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
this is rookie season.
And then he went down to 61 targets, 60 targets. Now he's back with Kirk Cousins. Or not back with. He has Kirk Cousins. He's averaging the most yards per reception in his entire career this season, 14.1. He's never reached that ever. He's already got 1 touchdown this year, which he had 1 last year, 2 the year before. So he's already almost there. I just think Darnell Mooney is going to be involved in this offense. It can't be all Drake London. It can't be all Kyle Pitts. Matter of fact, it's nothing about Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is kind of like a faker at this point. I'm ready to call Kyle Pitts, by the way, a faker. Where Darnell Mooney is not. He has real talent. They're going to focus on Drake London and Kyle Pitts while Mooney's just going over here, 8 targets, doing his thing, catching 8 balls, 66 yards, super solid. He is an upgraded version of Jacoby Myers, as in he gives you the potential to give big plays, but he's always going to be so like, 5 for 56 with a potential to score. Give me Darnell Mooney in all my matchups, in all my lineups. He's going to be super cheap. People are still going to overlook him. Darnell Mooney is going to be the bargain bin of your league this tomorrow morning when waivers clear.
Yeah, and he's especially important if you're like in the sleeper app and you're looking at people are looking at projections. Oh, how many points are these people going to score? He's still only projected 8.5 points. So that's good because not a lot of people are going to see that and expect a lot from him. So if they're not looking at week in and week out on what he's actually doing, they're not going to actually see that he's scoring 14, 17 points. So definitely somebody worth adding. He is a very solid target for Kirk Cousins too, though. So
we have Kareem Hunt next on the list. Kareem Hunt, we just spoke about him a little bit. He's definitely worth an add to me. 27% rostered. I picked him up immediately in all leagues last week because of the situation. I got laughed at because he was a practice squad player, which we all assumed that was going to happen if you know ball. So Kareem Hunt is a practice squad player, but he will be elevated up and he will be in game shape. He will be good to go. I don't think steal is going to be a thing for the rest of the season. I think Kareem Hunt's going to be leading that backfield very, very shortly. So if you rostered CMC and you have no idea what to do, or if you roster Kenneth Walker or any of these running backs that just are hurt, or DeAndre Swift, Kareem Hunt's guy who we can go pick up in confidence, hopefully, in playing with the best quarterback in the world, the best team in the world. The Chiefs are so good, they always have like 15 people on the field with them at all times. They might wear black and white, but at least they're on the field with them. So it's always a power play when you're a Kansas City Chief. So go pick up Kareem Hunt.
He's not a receiver, so at least they're not throwing interceptions because of DPIs or something like that. So they keep the ball more often. Anyways, next person. Yeah. Worth a stash, people.
We'll get to this last person real quick, and then we'll answer some questions in the chat. All right, worth a stash. Wandell Robinson. Wandell Robinson is on, to me, the same level as a Darnell Mooney. He doesn't have this. Maybe I don't want to say he doesn't have the same upside. Rostered in 17% of leagues, still getting targeted. People are all over the Neighbors bandwagon, which they should be. Neighbors is awesome. I'll eat my crow all day long. I never thought Neighbors was bad. Just thought the situation was bad. But I didn't think Wandell Robinson can get 8 targets a game with Neighbors there. He did in all 3 games. He scored double-digit points in all 3 games this season, except for week 2, so I guess only 2 or 3, where he scored 9.8. Double digits is pretty good for a guy like a Wandell Robinson who's going to be like your 4th flex or your option, a bye-week filler. I think Wandell Robinson's being crazily overlooked right now. His target share is pretty good, up there where you want it for your wide receiver too, especially in this terrible offense. And he's getting double-digit points. Who else can get you double-digit points right now on the waiver wire? Right now. Who else can do it? Not many. Wandell Robinson's done it 2 or 3 times. He's not being picked up. He's being disrespected in every single league. So 17% is crazy. It's crazy. Quinton Johnson, 44%. And Wandell said, that's crazy. What are we? Okay.
I was about to say maybe it's the team or something. Maybe it's the name, but I mean, Quinton Johnson plays for the Chargers, who runs the ball, so that doesn't make any sense either. But yeah, Wandell should be picked up. He's 0.2 away from scoring double-digit points every single week this season. He is the second target. So, yeah, I agree with you. I don't understand why he has not been picked up yet.
All right, can we get to Joshua and Gates chat question real quick?
Can we answer this one
All
first?
right.
First. We start Derek Carr rest of the season or pick up Fields, Dalton, Darnold rest of the season. My QB I drafted was Herbert, so I had to drop for Carr, and Carr had a bad fantasy game.
Man, I would
that
keep Carr.
I would keep Carr.
I would keep Carr, but I would also try to go pick up Fields if he's available.
Mm-hmm.
And Darnold as well. Dalton I would scratch because I believe Dalton and Carr are the same player. I think they're the same type of player. So you would just be putting a hat on a hat, right? It wouldn't make much sense. You would eat your dinner before your appetizer. It just doesn't make sense, right? You're adding something that you shouldn't do. Go get someone that gives upside. Where Sam Darnold, you're getting Addison back soon. Justin Jefferson's clearly the best receiver in the world. Or Justin Fields, who does give you that rushing upside if they allow him to rush. That's in 6. I didn't know that until just today. 6 yards rushing because I don't roster him anywhere. That's insane. But yes, Fields, how would rank him this way? Fields, Carr, Darnold. Am I wrong?
No.
Okay. Fields, Carr, Darnold. In that order.
Terry McLaurin had 4 receptions on 6 targets and 100 yards and a touchdown last week. Are you buying?
Selling. That's it.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
If you have them. 20 points.
Yeah, it was great last night. You know what? When he caught that touchdown, or actually when he caught that 50-something yard bomb in the first half, I'm thinking, I guarantee you someone in the comment today is going to bring up Terry McLaurin. Of course it was Josh Wingate. Of course.
He missed one in the end zone too, for what it's worth. He was like one of 2 incompletions that Jaden Fields had last. Oh, actually, timeout. Now that I'm doing math here, Jaden Fields had 2 incompletions last night, and both of them were
Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, Jaden Daniels had 2 incompletions last night. Both of those incompletions went to Terry McLaurin.
All right. No, I love Terry the player. I just didn't think he was going to get, and I still don't think rest of the season he's going to be top 35.
Correct. We have to answer this one. The boss is asking. Someone in one of my leagues has put Tyreek Hill on the trade block. Should I make a move on him? With the Dunze, Burrow, and Hopkins, too much. Is that too much?
So you're giving up Odunze, Burrow, and Hopkins for Tyreek Hill. And I'm assuming it's a 1-quarterback league.
Yeah, Bobby, I need to know who your other quarterback is because, I mean, right now you're trading Odunze for Tyreek Hill depending on who your other quarterback is.
I'm doing this because if it's 1-quarterback league.
Mahomes. Yeah, do it. I would do it.
I'm doing it because the upside for Tyreek, but I'm not confident that he's going to play well with the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
But totally I'm doing it just because all he needs is a 2-yard slant. He can go to the house.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still doing it.
He's still, as long as he has the opportunities, he can get it. He dropped in opportunities the last 2 weeks. He had 12 targets in week 1. Ever since Tua got hurt in week 2. He's had 6 targets and then 5 targets. He's not getting a lot of opportunities now, which has been a drag. So he's been hurting a lot of people, especially if they drafted him in the first round like he is projected. So I would still take that because that's not going to be forever. Tyreek Hill will get his targets at some point, and you want to take advantage of that right now.
Yep.
And get rid of Hopkins. He's got 5 points this season.
Hey, Hopkins had a good week last week.
Did he?
Yeah, did he? You're just such a Titans hater. You can't see the good in anything they do. You're telling
okay. I'm sorry. He had 19.3. Yeah, sell him now because he's not doing that for the rest of the season.
I would sell him now. Exactly. But you're such a you told people to drop Tajay Spears, which I told you guys not to. Tajay Spears came back a little bit.
Let's
chill.
Showed some life.
Showed some life.
Okay. He got 10 points. That was it.
You put him in the ground last week. Like you literally put the man in the ground.
Oh, okay. But Eckler scores more than 10 points every week, but he's a bum and we shouldn't be starting him. So, and nobody should be rostering him.
I didn't say that.
They know who I'm talking to right now.
I didn't say that. All right, keep stashing. We're going to get into Christian McCaffrey. Keep stashing. We already talked about him above our on top of the show. So if you need Christian McCaffrey analysis or thoughts or opinions, I'll say it real quick. He's going to Germany. He's going to drink some pints. He's going to be great. I hope he comes back soon. Just we don't know anything. We don't, and nobody does. The people that think they know, they don't know. We don't know.
I got to say something, and this is not even super relevant, but both Christian McCaffrey got married this summer, and he's just not been the same since. So Austin Eckler got married last summer, and he wasn't the same last year.
Justin is against marriage.
Yep, you heard it here first, guys. Justin's completely against marriage. Nobody tell my wife that.
All right. Check back next week. These guys are going to hurt you, and they're going to continue to hurt you if you start them. So I recommend benching all of these players until further notice. The first one, Mark Andrews, rostered in 99% of leagues. Of course he should be. I sat there with a decision this morning. Do I drop Mark Andrews, who scored me 0, for Mike Gesicki? And guess what Josh did? I put in a $2 bid for Mike Gesicki, and I'm dropping Mark Andrews. Yeah.
You did it with Kelce. Why not Mark Andrews? Mark Andrews is doing even worse than Kelce. So, although Andrews did get a 9-point game, Kelce has not reached 9 points yet this season. So.
No, he has not. But that's not the point. I have a theory, and this is going to be too long for me to explain my theory. But anytime when you're watching a football game and they show a player going through rehab, catching tennis balls, doing the footwork, like they did with Mark Andrews week 1 on Thursday night or Friday night, whatever night that was. My nights were blended together that week. Thursday night. They showed the video of him doing this and working out and doing the thing and doing this and doing that. And he's back. And well, he's not back. Anytime they show those videos, I'm out on the player, because that just shows me they're trying to pump up this player so much. And he knows he's washed. And guys, he's a professional athlete. Again, he can kick my ass. I understand that. But the fact is, he's not going to produce for your team. They're going to Zay Flowers. They're going to Rashad Bateman. They're not even going to Likely anymore, which is kind of weird. It is what it is. But Mark Andrews is a guy I'm comfortable dropping, because in this landscape of tight ends, where they're all bad, go pick up someone else who has a better opportunity. That's all I'm saying. We quit Kyle Pitts after week 2 last year. We can quit Mark Andrews, or we can quit Travis Kelce. The new blood is coming up. Try to find those new guys. I'd feel more comfortable with Luke Schoonmaker. I'd feel more comfortable.
Ferguson is back.
Oh, Ferguson, whatever. Jake Ferguson. I'd feel comfortable with insert Dallas tight end. I'd feel more comfortable with not Jonu Smith, by the way. He's failing us big time. But honestly, anyone, and not even this next guy. Can we get into the next guy, or is Derek going to yell at us?
No, we're good.
Dalton Schultz is another one. Seems to be phased out of this offense. They got Stephon Diggs there, Nico Collins. Stroud doesn't look the same as he did last season, which is understandable. Last season, he was phenomenal. Stroud is still great, but Dalton Schultz has just been phased out of this offense, and he's just a maybe 20-yard kind of player now. And I'm not liking this. So if you drafted him, obviously he's rostered in 70% of leagues. He's another guy you can move on from. We get too caught up in this world where we drafted him. I drafted him. Okay, he's not producing. So guess what? You can now drop him and go pick up someone with greener pastures. I'm not sure who that is right now at this point. We did name some tight ends earlier that we can add, but I feel totally comfortable dropping Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, it seems like he's become a blocking tight end more so than actually receiving now. I was trying to pull up his history on or his grades this year on pass blocking and stuff, but he there's too many options. That's the thing, is the Texans just have literally too many options to throw the ball to, and Schultz is not the first target or the second or the third. He might be the fourth target. And he's likely the fifth after the running back. So Schultz is not the target in there at all. Yeah, he's in a lot more pass blocking situations. Week 3, he saw 14.5% pass blocking over 6 and 5 the week before. So I don't think he's really going to be in that passing offense. He's not Stroud's first 5 looks.
Nope. He's only getting about 10% of the target share. 10% is awful. It's bad. It's really bad. All right. Now, our last guy who to check back on, Keon Coleman, rookie sensation out of Buffalo.
Touchdown last night.
Yeah, he had a touchdown last night. That's fine. He only had 7 targets in the first 3 weeks. Matter of fact, week 2, he had a big fat 0. It seems like Khalil Shakir is the one to trust over there in Buffalo, and even he's not a game breaker. He's nothing special. He's just a solid wide receiver for Josh Allen to throw to. If I had to pick between the two, which I've had this option many times, I went Khalil Shakir, and I've been right almost every single time. Keon Coleman is still a rookie. We have to understand that. We have people like Jameson Williams who are just now breaking out in the year 3. Keon Coleman, not every receiver is going to come in and be Malik Neighbors. Not everyone's going to be Marvin Harrison. So Keon Coleman's going to need more time in this offense to get more comfortable with Josh Allen before even Shakir. How long did it take him to get there? 3 years, 2 years. So Keon Coleman's a guy that they're going to need to work on. Right now, I believe he's wide receiver bajillion. I don't feel comfortable starting him in any lineup. He's still rostered in 65% of leagues, which is bananas to me. He should be dropping like flies and be picking up someone like Wandell Robinson. That's all I'm saying. Keon Coleman is droppable to me, but not buried.
But not buried.
But you know who is buried?
Who's buried?
Play the music and we'll let him know.
Oh, no. I was trying
to... he doesn't.
No, I was going to. There's just breaking news on Adam Thielen. He's dealing with a fairly significant hamstring injury that's going to put him on IR. So.
Now Derek's going to got to cut this because we're talking about Adam Thielen in a Keon Coleman clip. Now, what are we going to do?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
And now, a moment of silence.
I told you last week. And I did it again.
We double buried. You know what happens when we buried him twice?
Moment of silence.
We buried Tajay Spears twice, and he came back from the dead, baby, scoring 10 points. So are you flipping that? You're gonna bury DeAndre Swift twice. Rostered 91% of leagues, which is crazy to me. I thought it'd be 100. That's the crazy part. 1.83 yards per carry this season. This offensive line is bad. The play calling is bad. I believe the Colts gave up bajillion yards to Josh Jacobs and to every team they've played this season. But you know what the Bears decided to do? They're like, we're going to throw the ball 50 times. That's what we're going to do, baby. We're going to throw it. I don't know if this is a DeAndre Swift situation or if this is a poor coaching situation or if it's all of the above. It's kind of like the who killed WCW situation. If you're a wrestling fan, it could be everything. It could be literally everything. So for that reason, DeAndre Swift, I'm done with you. Justin's done with you. I'm going to let Justin talk about because he's passionate about this one. So Justin, how say you?
This one sucks. Like this is like my for sure bet of the offseason of if you're going 0 running back, you're taking DeAndre Swift because of the opportunity that he's going to have in a great offense. And it turns out that's just not a great offense. And yeah, that you're going to up against a team that literally is worst in rush defense in the entire league, over 450 yards the first 2 weeks. And you throw the ball 52 times. And it wasn't even like it was a blowout score. Like it was a 1-score game for most of it until the very end. But they force-fed Caleb Williams to throwing the ball to literally everyone. Cole Kmet, again, 10 receptions. Roma Dunze had a touchdown. DJ Moore had 8 receptions, 10 targets. Like the ball was spread everywhere. But the running backs, DeAndre Swift had 13 rushes. Roschon Johnson had 8 rushes. He was actually the most effective runner. Khalil Herbert was getting goal line carries. Swift got 1 goal line carry and got like negative 11 yards on the play on 4th down. So 13 attempts, 20 yards is not good. It's just good.
Listen.
And his most effective play was in the 4th quarter. He was actually running the ball well. He was actually he got 2 receptions, I think, in the 4th in like their final drive. He was doing well in the 4th quarter, but he was so far behind from the start, he just never got going. DeAndre Swift is dead. He's dead to me. I'm dropping him.
I'm going to name some players real quick, and these players all have more rushing yards than DeAndre Swift. Tank Bigsby, Tyler Batty, Jamal Williams, Jaden Reed. And I just stopped at that point because I could listen.
When you got to a wide receiver,
I was like, okay, well, we got to a receiver now. Okay, we're done with this whole DeAndre Swift. He said double-digit carries every single game, but has yet to rush for over 30 yards in a single game. We can't stress this enough. He's not producing for you. You can go ahead and drop them and let somebody else spin fab on him. That's playing defense. And we have a question in the chat about playing defense. That right there is playing defense. Dropping the guys like Kelce. Dropping the guys like Andrews, dropping DeAndre Swift. They have no value to your team. So give them to someone else who still believes in them. And if they pull out and they do well, cool. That's awesome. At least you're not stressed out about this anymore. At least that's one thing left off your plate, and that's DeAndre Swift, because man, what a nothing burger he's been this season.
If you could sell him and get something else, literally anything else, do it. But,
Tyler Batty. Swift for Tyler Batty straight up. Send it.
Well, DeAndre Swift or Jaden Reed, they have about the same amount of rushing yards on the season. Just tell them that they're equal in the rushing game. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Get Jaden Reed.
They'll totally buy it. You want to answer some of these questions before we get out of here?
Yeah, we got a couple minutes. Okay, so I have Jordan Love. Do I pick up Aaron Rodgers and start him since my opponent this week is starting Garrett Wilson? Could be an interesting way to play some defense. We're talking, for those that don't know, we're talking about starting Aaron Rodgers because for every 6 points Garrett Wilson gets, Aaron Rodgers gets 4. It almost equals out, but not fully. We don't know what Jordan Love's going to look like yet.
I think you're getting too cute, Smitty. And I think you're getting too cute because, hey, I went against Burrow last night and I had T. Higgins. Guess how that worked out for me? It's not a given thing where, Garrett Wilson's going to get all the targets and all the catches and all the touchdowns. It's just not a fact of life. At the end of the day, play the best quarterback, play the best player on your team. If it's Jordan Love, it's Jordan Love. That's a better way to defend your win by playing the best player, not just to play. But I understand. Trust me, because last night I was thinking, he's got Joe Burrow. When he throws the T. Higgins, I'm money, baby. Guess what? T. Higgins is still a bum. But Garrett Wilson's awesome, so maybe it might work out. I'm still starting Jordan Love if he's healthy. I mean, yes, Swift and Rachaad White are both about to be backups. Both of them. Both. But don't drop Rachaad White because he's still going to have he's actually productive.
Yeah.
Productive. Kind of. In the passing game.
Right now.
But that's going to do it for us, guys. We'll be back tomorrow night, Wednesday, talking our start sits. The scenarios. We put out 2 players from each position, tell you who to start. Simple as that. We'll be here again Friday, breaking down every single game. Might change that format a little bit because it was like a forever show. But if you like more of us, that's good for you, right? It's good for you. So if you joined us today on this live stream, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to OUSFF Pod and the Fins Talk Sports Network. Thank you to everyone who's been involved. Sean in the background, doing all the social medias. Derek, doing all the video editing. You guys are amazing. Justin, of course, your new office looks great. Until then, we'll see you guys next week. Or actually, tomorrow night, Wednesday. Hit that alert button because I'll forget. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.